Hi everyone. This week we've been working on writing poems and thinking about different parts of a poem and how the different verses that we call lines create a stanza. Stanzas in a poem work together to tell a story, and each stanza tells an important part of the poem's story. The stanzas build upon each other to present ideas in order to tell that story. What we hadn't talked about in the other videos of modeling and writing a poem is that sometimes poems have a rhyme to them, meaning when we're talking about rhyming words, it means that the ending sound of words go together. For example, the words balloon and moon rhyme together because they have the same ending sound of oon, balloon and moon. Cat and fat would also be examples of rhyming words because they have the same ending sound. So some of you are going to want to try out creating your poems this week using rhyming words. Here's the number one rule if you're going to try out rhyming with your poem: it has to make sense. Remember, our main job is to make sure that we're creating stanzas that build upon each other. So when you're doing that and you're thinking about your rhyming words, you really want to make sure that they actually make sense. They can't just be gibberish or in there because the words rhyme together. So that's what I'm going to show you of how I could take my plan that I used for my topic of birds, using stanzas that build upon each other, to write the first stanza using rhyming words. So my first stanza was all about the nest, and some things are going to be the same if you watch the other video, but I had to do some rearranging and thinking a little more carefully about my word choice since I do want to create a poem that is going to rhyme. So as always, I want to use purposeful dialogue because our poems have a speaker, and in this case, my speaker is the birds. So when we use that purposeful dialogue, it's with quotation marks, and I'm still going to have spring is here, exclamation point. Now that's a perfectly fine phrase for my birds to say. We sing and whistle. Now, this is the last word of this particular part of my line. So the next phrase that I use, the ending sound has to rhyme with whistle. So because this stanza was about building a nest, I'm going to continue this part of my stanza by saying, grab the twigs and branches, but notice branches and whistle do not rhyme. So I need to come up with one final phrase that's going to rhyme with whistle. So I'm going to say, don't forget, again, still doesn't rhyme yet, the soft thistle. Thistle is a type of flower that can have soft parts of it, and when I think about whistle and thistle, they both have the same ending sounds. So this is kind of more of a stanza where the birds are being bossy with each other about how to build their nest and what they need to make sure they have. My next line in this stanza, because they haven't finished building their nest yet, is layer and weave on limbs of the trees, on limbs of the trees. Notice my ending word is trees right here. So I have to think about a word in my next line that's going to rhyme with trees. A nest, I need a comma there, a nest so strong, let's see, it can withstand the strongest, what would rhyme with trees? Not wind, but breeze. A nest so strong it can withstand the strongest breeze. So when I think about those ending sounds, even though they're not spelled the same, they still sound the same. Trees, breeze. They rhyme together. So that's my first stanza about building a nest. I'll also notice that I still have some of those vivid verbs in my first stanza. Sing, whistle, grab, layer, weave are all vivid verbs that I've used to help my reader understand that the birds who are building this nest, that's what's happening in my first stanza. Happy writing today, poets.